Well, hey everyone, how's it going? We are midway through December. That means I've had quite a few things other than Criterions that I've picked up. Actually, I picked up a few things in November as well, but I decided to kind of hold off and kind of show you until right now, obviously, all the things I picked up. So I picked up some things from November and also the early December. So let's start off with a few television shows. The first one I actually picked up on Black Friday. This is Blue Planet 2. I actually mentioned it, and I think in a video, but this was like $9 at Best Buy on Black Friday. This is one of the best steals that I got from Best Buy itself. I got this online because I didn't know how fast this would like go away. So I just decided to get it real quick early on in the morning. But I've really enjoyed Blue Planet. I really love the BBC's series. They have Life. They also do Planet Earth, and I think this is just another fantastic David Attenborough addition right here with Blue Planet 2. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out. Got a nice little sea lion up there, some walruses, and all that fun stuff. So I can't wait to check that out. Next is an old show that has been revived, and that is X-Files Season 11. I am still watching X-Files. I'm only on Season 4, and so I'm going to get to this, and I've heard mixed things on X-Files Season 11. I've also heard mixed things on some of the return stuff, so we'll see how this is, but I'm looking forward to checking this out. Next is a show that I actually picked up Season 2 of that I have not seen yet, and yes, I still haven't seen Season 1. Elizabeth Moss plays this amazing character of the novel with the same name, but this is, I think, Season 2, which is a little different from the novel because I think it's a continuation, but I've heard nothing but great things about Handmaid's Tale, and I cannot wait to check this out. And in fact, I actually might wait until, you know, it's all said and done and just have them all collected and then finally watch it and binge it. So that might happen, who knows, I'll probably watch it soon. So let's move on to another little series that I haven't seen, but I've heard fantastic things about. And actually, I think Steven, he was recently in my Golden Globes predictions video. We talked a lot about Sharp Objects. And this is a little short mini-series that HBO put together with Amy Adams right there. I really don't know very much about this, except for the fact that it's made by the writer of Gone Girl, or it's based on the book of Gone Girl from the author, and so I know it's going to be some clever writing. I know it's going to be a really clever little mini-series, and I've heard nothing but fantastic things about this, and so I was happy to pick this up, and cannot wait to check this out. So let's move on from the television series to a few other things. So moving on from the television series, let's move on to a few movies that actually came out this year that are finally available on Blu-ray. There's a couple of them that I really, really love, and a couple of them I have not seen yet. So let's talk about one that I have seen, the first one being Searching. John Cho plays an amazing father in this really phenomenal film that I thought was incredibly well executed. It looked kind of cheesy, and especially kind of the cover kind of reveals that it looks a little cheesy itself. But it's all through the lens of different computer screens. So that's either through a smartphone, you got it through a computer monitor itself, you got it through Snapchat, all sorts of different things, Instagram, Facebook, all these video platforms that can record, FaceTime. I'm just listing them off now, it's not really going anywhere. But it's really, really cool how the camera work was done. It kind of reminds me of how Unsane was, how Steven Soderbergh did all of it on his iPhone. So you're going to see a lot of really creative endeavors, especially done with some new technology, and I think this was one of those better films, and I thought John Cho did a fantastic performance of his daughter's missing, and he's trying to put all the pieces together and trying to find her in this really great mystery. So check this out if you haven't seen it. I'm going to put a link down in the description, so check that one out. Now we're moving on to a film that I have not seen, and I actually have not really heard much about, and that's Galveston. So this is starring Ben Foster, and we also have Ellie Fanning here. It looks like kind of a Western. I really don't know much about it. Honestly, I read a synopsis about a couple weeks ago, seemed really interested in it, and since it was like $14.99, I'm like, I'll pick that up. Generally, my senses don't fail me, so it's hopefully this is a good one, but I've heard good things, and so I can't wait to check this one out. It is from the creator of True Detective, and so that should be good, but that could be a hit or miss because True Detective Season 2, Alright, now we're moving on to another movie I have not seen yet, but I've actually heard good things about, and that is Crazy Rich Asians. This was on sale at Best Buy recently, and so I decided to pick it up. This movie did not interest me whatsoever when I saw the trailers, nor did it interest me in the conversations I've had with people. Except recently, I have talked to a couple of my friends who've seen it, and they said they enjoyed it quite a bit, surprisingly. And so, I decided to pick it up myself as well, And so on their request, I picked it up, and I'm actually looking forward to this movie finally. So we'll see how that goes. Now we're going to move on to a less serious film. Actually, no, sorry. Now we're going to move on to a more serious film, but it also has some comedy in it as well, that I have seen, and that is BlacKkKlansman. This is directed by Spike Lee, so you know it's got a little bit of a political savvy message to it, and so I really enjoyed this movie with John David Washington. His performance was phenomenal, co-starring with Adam Driver as his partner, who really didn't know what to do with this cop in Colorado Springs, I want to say. I'm not too certain on this one, but he's one of the first colored cops on the force, and so during this time, just to try to trick David Duke of the KKK, and it's really hilarious, but it's also serious at the same time. It's got a lot of issues that are really balanced in a way that I thought I really enjoyed the tones of the movie, and it even has a really kind of really serious message at the end of the film, talking about the discrimination and hate today, and so I liked this film a lot, and I really enjoyed John David Washington's performance, and so I definitely recommend checking this out. I'll put that in the description as well. Next, we're moving on to a film that I have not seen, but I've heard good things, especially from my friend Chris and Seth, who have been on the channel before. We've done a couple of videos, and that is Blindspotting. It's one of their favorite films of the year, and so I honestly have heard good things about this. It was a really limited run here. I didn't check it out when it came to town, but I'm really looking forward to watching this finally. I have heard good things about it, and so, it's one of those films that I have been waiting on my queue for quite some time. Next is a film that did not come to my theater, at least I don't think it did, Juliet Naked. This movie is Ethan Hawke, and we got Chris O'Dowd, and we also got Rose Byrne, who is super attractive in this film. And no, not because it's named Juliet Naked. That's actually based on an album that we got... Why am I blanking? Ethan Hawke, who is this fictional 90s alternative rock star who he is obsessed with, and she eventually runs into him. It's a really great little story. It's really nice and upkept in a really, really sweet way, but it's also just one of those films, kind of like Heart Beat Loud that I talked about a couple weeks earlier. I really enjoyed how simple the premise was and how well the performances were in this film. There's not really much going on for the film. It's not like this big elaborate setup. It's just an everyday kind of life situation with a few things, obviously, because it's a film, it's got to have, some interesting story elements to it, and so that's where Ethan Hawke comes in as this old rock star. He's been, shut away for over 20 years, and this guy who is obsessed with him and his music, who creates this entire world online with a couple of other fans who are just pretty much neckbeards, pardon my jargon, but his girlfriend eventually runs into him on the forum itself, and they kind of get a connection, and it's kind of one of those films that is actually based on the book it's based on a book, and the book was the author of About a Boy and High Fidelity, which are also great films itself, and so the writing in here is pretty great, and I really enjoy this. So check this out, Juliet Naked. I know a lot of people haven't really talked about it, so I'm going to put that in the description down below. Now we're going to move on to a few things that I picked up that are a little bit older, but I got it recently in November and December. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about is one of my first 4K films. I have a few 4K films, but all on Steelbook, but Philadephia. The Blu-ray for this was on Twilight Time, which was out of print, and so I'm really happy to see this on 4K and Blu-ray. I have never seen this legendary film. It's got two amazing actors in it. You got Denzel Washington and you got Tom Hanks. I have heard nothing but great things about this film. I've seen clips of it. It's a courtroom drama, and it's centered around AIDS, and so it's definitely one of the cultural milestone films in the early 90s, and so I'm really looking forward to this. It is directed by Jonathan Demme, and if you know who that is, Silence of the Lambs, Rachel Getting Married, this is a legendary director who's done really fantastic work, and so I really cannot wait to check out Philadephia for the first time, and I have it on 4K, so that's really great. Alright, so moving from Philadephia, we have Fritz Lang's Woman in the Window. This is actually a 1944 film, I want to say. Let me check real quick. This is actually a Kino Lorber classic. It is directed in 1944, yes, by Fritz Lang, who's that really classic German director, and that's the original cover for this original release. But I always like switching out the Kino Lorber covers because I think that they're a lot more interesting. I like how they have different reversible covers, and to me this is a little bit more interesting. Maybe that gives you a little bit more about the film, but I haven't checked it out yet. But this was on sale recently, and so I wanted to get it, and this is where I am. So let's move on from there to a steelbook that I picked up. It was on sale for about $9 or something. Christine. This is a Stephen King novel turned into a film. This is actually a really cool steelbook right here. You got the awesome, I think, Mondo probably artwork, and then we also got some nice little selling points of. And if you're looking for a standard vehicle, then Christine isn't for you. In her vibrant, hot red, red and cream, the wonderful new Christine that actually kills the competition, literally. And so it's about this killer car, as we all know. And so, just really simple design, and really excited to see this film for the first time. Finally, I've heard really great things about it. So, moving on from there is to a classic film, the one from 1977, Best Picture. That is Annie Hall. This is a Woody Allen film. It's also starring Diane Keaton. I have not seen this film. I've seen parts of it, and also, you know, Woody Allen's got that controversy around him. However, I've heard this is a really delightful film. I have not seen very many Woody Allen films. I've seen Zelig, and I've also seen Blue Jasmine, and those were fairly different films. Zelig I actually enjoyed a little bit more. But I wanted to check out Annie Hall because I've heard really great things about it, and obviously it won the Best Picture, so it's got that comedy that Woody Allen has. And so I'm really looking forward to finally checking this film out. You know, it's been a long time coming. I'm surprised I haven't seen it yet. So moving on from there is to a Russian film. We got Andrei Tarkovsky's The Sacrifice. I got a little hair on there. Anyway, this film I've heard such great things about. And this is the new 4K 2-disc set. When I say 4K, it's shot in 4K. It's a 4K restoration here. I've heard really great things about this movie. As I've mentioned previously before, I have never seen a Tarkovsky. I have Stalker, and then I also have Solaris. I want to say he did that film. I'm going to put down here if I was wrong. But there's a few things I have not seen by Tarkovsky that I've recently picked up. Finally, this was on sale for, I don't even recall how much, but it was definitely like $5 or $6 off its normal price. And so I really wanted to get this film. And I've heard really great things. I've heard it's really beautiful. It's got really gorgeous cinematography, and that's what I've heard about Tarkovsky anyway. So I'm checking this out. This is going to be a Russian long one. So moving to a completely different end of the spectrum, we have a 2-film collection from Disney itself. And we have Fox and the Hound and the Fox and the Hound 2. I have never seen the second one, but I remember the first one being such an enjoyable film from my childhood. This was on sale for about like $10 or something. I think that's probably actually how much it goes for normally. But I finally picked it up, and I'm ready to cry again like I did in the past from a long, long time ago. So other than Fox and the Hound, I've actually picked up 4 more films. These are all Christmas films, and a couple of them I have not seen, and a couple of them I haven't seen in a long, long time. Alright, so the first 2 I'm going to talk about are 2 musical classics by Bing Crosby, Irving Berlin's Holiday Inn and Irving Berlin's White Christmas, both starring Bing Crosby. We also got Fred Astaire in this one, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and Vera Ellen. These are some classic films. This is the 75th anniversary edition, and this I think is the 70th anniversary or whatever. This film is 1954, and this movie is 1942. And so these are some classic Hollywood musicals that I'm looking forward to checking out. My roommates are actually big into musicals, and so I'm looking forward to watching it with them for the first time for the holiday season real quick. And so those are 2 of them I picked up. So the last 2 films I picked up in the Christmas kind of spirit are the 2 Miracles on 34th Street. This one is from 1947. It's the original one, and then we also have the remake of John Hughes in the 90s. And I'm really looking forward to checking out both of these films. I've seen these movies. I've seen this one in the past. I remember watching this, but I don't recall very much. But I do recall seeing bits and pieces of the original. But these are some Hollywood classics, at least this one is in particular. And it's got a really nice slipcover with it. I got this one at Best Buy, and I also got those other holiday musicals as well there. But anyway, these are my last 2 picks that I got for my end of November / December haul. So thank you so very much for checking this video out. I want to thank you all for giving me some time. And I want to hear your thoughts down below. Comment down below, what did you think of my pickups? Did you pick up anything in the last kind of end of the month and beginning of the month? Give this video a like, comment down below, don't forget to share this video, also hit that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.